what's funny is that big battery, nope, it's not my main source of power. Let me show you what is. This little baby battery has been my main source of power. This one, and there's one slightly larger that I'll show you, but most of the time I've been here, I'm basically just plugging in my phone and watching my phone. And if I have my phone plugged in all night watching videos, it'll drain about 10% to keep my phone at 100%. I only had to start using that bigger battery when I started to use higher wattage demanding items like a television set. So so that big battery is like my source of complete luxury. So if I want to use a high powered blender or if I want to watch movies. There's my 100-watt solar panel that I had plugged in. And I usually put it on this easel. That's why this easel's there, but the angle for sun was better putting it in this chair today. This time of year and all that, I was only getting like 55 watts coming in out of 100 from here, and then I put it there and I was getting 90. There's my big ass battery charged to 100%. And basically if I watch a movie, plug in my TV and DVD player, it'll use 2% of this big ass battery. I've never done this before, but I'm sitting out by the road because the signal tends to be much better here, and I'm hoping to be able to send some videos. I'm just looking over there and seeing some red leaves atop that tree. This is why I don't feel like stir crazy here, because you know, even looking out the window is inspiring to me, and the sunlight moves, and the crickets and everything else that happens. Just laying in bed here, I still have a nice view. I don't feel confined. I don't feel claustrophobic. And the air coming in through the window is really nice and clear and fresh. That curtain I had at my rented cabin, holding up to the elements for actually quite a few years, and so it's still doing its job. Gives you the perfect amount of privacy that you need, and $45 camping shower. Hopefully we can still access, you know, tools that we need in the coming years, but I don't know if any of that's certain. So anyway, really inspired watching this young lady who raised her 1,000 pounds of grass-fed beef for a total cost of $5,000 and something dollars. All in, smart as a whip, this chick, and you know, really inspiring. It just makes a lot of sense to know how to trap something, to know how to grow things. We are very, I think, quickly moving into the time where you're going to be completely, utterly dependent on the system for every meal, per meal. Like I see that there's some really unfun times coming our way. And I'd just like to say that, I mean, I always wanted like this kind of lifestyle anyway. You know, I see how fat and unhealthy we are as a population, and myself included. I've got the, you know, I've got the belly fat, like all collecting in one spot. I've got the pre-diabetes. I've got the joint inflammation. I've got like all the beginnings of all the serious health issues, hypertension, you know, that go with poor diet and poor lifestyle. So the idea that food is entertainment, I'm not sad. I will not be sad if that ends, you know, because, you know, our planet can't, you know, keep up to this insane, you know, consumerist lifestyle that they've been promoting all these decades, you know. I won't miss that. I always had the sense that, you know, food should be to nourish you and fuel you and keep you healthy, as opposed to entertain, you know, comfort, entertain, make my miserable life feel better because I had a little sweetie and some cookies, you know. No, because if we didn't have all those things, we'd find something better, you know, probably something more true, you know, like being outside, enjoying all these beautiful sights that are available and sounds. And so I think I've just been living in like a state of complacency and burnout for way too long. And yeah, the pandemic really affected my mode of making a living, because I was a networker. I was a meet people. I was a face-to-face type of person. I'm just not as charming on the phone. I don't know what it is. I'm not like the type of person to call up strangers, but yet I seem to meet people really easily in person. And just my approach to real estate was always service. Having been a nurse before, I was service. It wasn't, it took me a while to realize, oh, I'm in sales. And then it's like, well, it is possible to be in sales and just hold the value that you're providing and the advice and helping people make the best informed decisions as possible about some of the biggest investments they've ever made in their life. For most people, the biggest investments. And that's how I operated my business. And so I never, I'll go on record, I never, ever sold a property to someone that I believed was not what they wanted. I never pushed someone to close on a sale. If there was red flags, I was like, okay, let's go through them one by one. Maybe you need to walk away. There's a lot of people I talked out of selling because I didn't think that that what they were looking to do, that it wasn't the right time. You know, the market wasn't there, blah, 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 whatever it was. So I always had the faith that I would make enough of a living as long as I kind of held true to just service-minded orientation. So that's a fact. And as a result, you know, I am not mega wealthy. No. But I made a living. I never made a killing. I made a living. I made a reasonable living some years. I made a great living 2 years. There was, you know, when the market was just, everything's cooperating, made a fantastic living for a couple of years. And I made a moderate living most years. And then there was a couple of really hard years, you know? So that's kind of how it was. And I'm hoping, well, I mean, I kind of have to proceed that our system as it stands is still going to be doing something. People are still going to be buying houses, needing financing and all of that. Although that may not be the case, you know, in the next few years. We'll see. So I am getting back into the saddle, though, of back to my own business, and I'm going to be back out meeting people and doing things and following that for as long as it makes sense to do so. So it's great to be back. And yeah, oh my God, it's raining, But hey, you know, it's not freezing, it's not full of bugs, so I cannot complain. See the white pines there? They even seem bushier than they were. Obviously this one was full, but what really impressed me was that this one was full as well. And this bucket that I just put here sort of randomly at the, you know, at the edge, it was also full, so bonus. So, convalescing from COVID here. And other than that, my voice sounds a bit deeper, and I do have a bit of a mild stuffiness in my nose. I'm not really experiencing anything else. You know, first 72 hours I had things going on. First 24, the theme was headache, and it hurt enough that I didn't sleep. So I went to bed, but I didn't sleep until late that night because of the headache. So I took an Advil. Finally got some sleep. You know, day 2, there was a little bit of a sore throat developed. But day 3, 72 hours in, I woke up that day. There was no headache, but I had backache, and I had like a feeling like a sunburn all up my whole back. And so that's nerve pain. Oh, there's a monarch butterfly. Aww. Anyway, and that was really painful. The headache was really painful the first 24, and then from 48 to 72, somewhere in there, the back pain happened. And but after that, no more sore throat. So the next day, so into day 4, no headache, no sore throat. I had a bit of a cough off and on, so very occasionally, like every few hours, after sleeping for many hours, I kind of coughed up a little bit of mildly yellow looking stuff, but it was not like, I mean, I've had flus before where, or chest colds or bronchitis or whatever before where, you know, it's like, wow. No, it was just slightly yellow. So it's like, okay, that looks pretty good. And again, yeah, it was every few hours. It wasn't even an hourly thing, which with asthma, I've had an hourly cough before, an hourly productive cough where I'm horking up something, and that's usually when I've had exposure to a lot of smog, city smog, and so I just got to the point where I don't think I should be, you know, sitting in the middle of the city anymore with this air. It just didn't feel good. And there was nothing for me to do. And if there's nothing to do, I'd rather sit and, you know, watch the leaves moving, or watch, you know, that big daddy long leg spider that just ran over the table, and or watching my plants, the plant grow, or checking on the amount of rainwater that I got in the buckets there during the last storm, and, you know, filtering out whatever debris fell in there as well. So I feel much better here. I just miss my boyfriend. Oh, I wish we were a little more, you know, city country compatible that way, because, you know, if there's nothing to do, I'd much rather be breathing clean air, you know, and listening to the crickets. like some leaves are moving and some aren't.